So this is DTM, as you know, follow me, Delta Tango Mike, Artist King. Get your weight up, that's my theme for this year. I have to advance my art career, and I have to continue to move forward. So that's why I'm making that my theme. So here we go. This is the Microsoft Surface Pro 4. It is a good machine. I like it. It works for me. What I like about it is the fact that you can draw on the screen and then plug in your keyboard and start working on Photoshop, Illustrator, and all the other computer things that people are used to doing on a computer. So this is more than just a drawing tablet. It is a full Windows machine, a full computer that will give you the options to do full-time work, typing, emails, internet, all that stuff, and then and also let you draw whenever you want to. So that's kind of cool. I like that. Let's start out my favorite app, and that is Sketchable. So I like Sketchable because it has the major tools that an artist would use, but it's very compact and light, and it will not bog down your system. I have Photoshop installed and I can draw on Photoshop, but Photoshop is such a heavy software that it kind of slows down your machine. So here we go. I got the Surface Pen. I have preset it to click on the eraser on the back, and it opens up the app just like that. So let me just check that we're working. Yep, we're up and we're working. And this is a piece I started working on yesterday, and but I'm gonna go back to a different piece and get to cover what the stuff that I want to talk about today. What I do like about this app is that it gives you options to start sketchbooks, and in these sketchbooks you can have a limited amount of pages, and it is through these pages that you build up your individual art pieces. So here's the piece that I want to talk about. And actually, yeah, we're going to talk about two different pieces. And this one's still a work in progress. I'm working my way through it. But my process is more of multiple steps, constantly adding extra steps. So let's start off with the main step, right? So let's see if I have that sketch in here. And I do not. So let's move on to one that does, I think, because sometimes I clean them up. All right, so here's the app, and it's very smooth. I have it set to where I can use my hand to move the artwork, and I only draw when I have the stylus or the Surface Pen. There's an undo button right there, but also there's an undo when you do 3-finger swipe. So I can redo with the 3-finger swipe to the right, undo with the 3-finger swipe to the left. That's awesome. I like that. So here are my layers, and let's turn them off and turn on the initial ones if it's still here. And I think I might have deleted that too. So yeah, here it is. So here's how most of my artwork starts, and in here, this layer, the initial layer, what I do is I start a quick sketch. So in this quick sketch, we're gonna do that now. Maybe this one. So first you have a quick little sketch. I'm trying to find one. There we go. This was good. So I'll sketch out something real fast, and so in this case here, I start up a layer. I have one layer, and this one layer I'll find like a pencil. I do a nice size, like a 18 to 20, and a low opacity of 12 or so, and then I grab a color, and I may grab the lighter color here to set. So these are some colors that are already preset, and then I start to sketch, right? So now I'll go ahead and sketch real fast. The idea, here's what I have, here's what I want. I want a mean look on this guy's face, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. And then and I say, yeah, I think that's kind of something that I want to work on. And if I don't like that, I keep rolling with it. I try again, and I keep sketching, right? So I keep sketching. So I keep sketching ideas and just doodle it around and until I get something that works for me. And then and once I have something that I like, I say, okay, this is something close to what I'm looking for. So go ahead, then that's when I go ahead and turn the opacity down. See, right now the opacity was low. I turn down the opacity to this layer and start a new layer. And the new layer, I'll come in and work with a darker color, a thicker, a darker opacity, and then I go in and clean up the drawing and make it better. So now I'm using the base of the initial doodle and sketch to start cleaning up the drawing and clarifying some of the details into what it's going to be. So that way I work in layers, so that way I can turn off the first layer and now I'm left with the more refined sketch. Then once I have this refined sketch, I start a new layer. That's the new layer button. And bam, there goes my new layer. The last layer, I turn it down also again. And then my new layer, now I'll go in with some black. I may go in with the brush. And I turn it down and start testing, right? So now I'm playing with the settings of this brush. I get rid of the UI. It has a beautiful UI. The Sketchable folks have done a good job with this app, and the UI is just very nice. But I get rid of it because I want to do what I want to do in it, right? So I like the fact that you can pan and zoom with a 2-finger pinch. So there we go. Now I go in like this, and I say, yeah, that's a cool line, but that's too thin. So now I'm gonna go in and make it thicker. Let's see how this works. Oh, better, but it's still too thin also. And I just swipe to the left to get rid of those lines. Let's go with 44. Let's see how that looks. There it is. Yeah. So now, nice. And I want it to be very dynamic and very fluid looking. So I'm not taking my time and over sketching and over drawing, trying to get it perfect. I want it to look really organic. I guess that's another word. So I wanted to have a flow. All right, so there we go. Yep, and that's good. That's good. Now I can go like this. Yeah. So let me fix that again. I like that. There we go. And so some of my techniques is when I need to draw a line, I either turn the canvas around to get the line that I want, right? So I can get a natural movement on my wrist, of my hand, because it's small space. You can use your elbow and your shoulder to get that dragging motion to get your line in. But it's small space, and I want to use my wrists and fingers to just get that. So you go ahead and turn this around. You can also turn the tablet around to get the angle you're looking for. That's what I like about Sketchable, is that it allows you to do these things. That's cool. All right, so now I got that. And so I'm turning around. Another technique I use when I'm drawing lines is I go from thin to thick. You can go from thick to thin, but it's I find it easier when I go from thin to thick, because then, and let's do this line again, because then I can measure my pressure by going very light and then pushing hard in. And you don't have to like push really hard like on paper and a pencil, but you do go ahead and apply pressure so that you can see that change from that thin line to that thicker line. So there, I can go like that. And right now these lines are very terrible, right? Okay. So I take my time to sketch out the main idea. Now I'm drawing it, and now I'm getting my line work in. And then I can check what my line work looks like by turning off the last layer. And now I can see it's like, hey, that's all right, or that's not so good. And I can keep working or adjusting and fixing things. There we go. Let's see how I like that eye, the way I did that eyeball. This is the logo I need to finish today, and I've been playing around with it all night, so I'm kind of getting to where I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish and finalize. The same process was done with this other piece here, and let's turn that off so it's out the way. And so this piece is turn the opacity back on, and I sketched this out and as a test of what I wanted to see. And I said, yeah, I want a mean looking guy holding like a shield of a Surface, and this would be like a Surface tablet, and that's a shield. And I did that before the Surface Studio came out, so that could be like the Surface Studio. And then when I actually started drawing it, after I started doing the detail sketching, I came in with the detail sketching and ended up looking like this. Like, well, maybe he has the Surface book or something like that under his arm, and because we're having an event called well, I'll tell you more about it later. We're having an event and it's based on football. Then I wanted an old football helmet, football style helmet, so like the old leather football helmets. So I drew that on him. I was like, yeah, and he's gonna be mad. So I don't know if this will get approved because of the mean looking face. But I started with that. I said, let's go with the mean face. Let's go with the mean look on there. He's mad. He's like psycho. Because he's competitive, right? So he's got a jersey on. I got to do the rest of the details on the jersey. But as you can see now that I have my figure, I go in and start adding details. I want him to have some shell toes without shoelaces. And partly because of the fashion, but partly because I don't like drawing shoelaces. And then of course the Surface pen, right? So there goes the Surface pen. He has a big Surface pen right there. That's his tool. That's his weapon, right? That's his weapon of choice. That's how he goes into competition. He's gonna run into the gridiron. And so I build up my image by starting with a main idea. Then I go in and start sketching out some details as to, well, if we follow that idea, what would it look like? And sometimes I adjust things. Like I adjusted the legs. The legs were kind of tight and close to each other, and he had a slender body, and that's cool. But I want it to be more dramatic, so I kind of widened his body, widened the stance, and had a bigger gap in skinny looking legs. So a big torso, skinny legs, big head, very straight and angular fingers. And that's one of my cartoon styles. I choose my cartoon styles or my drawing style depending on the subject. And so let's go into, that's Darth Vader. And you can check him out on my Instagram at Delta Tango Mike. And here's another pose I'm working on for a job. And so let's go back to Darth Vader. So here's Darth Vader. And in this instance, what I did is I started this drawing, the sketch idea, and then I embellished it. I did not take my time to do layers here. I just went ahead and did a quick body sketch, a quick figure, but I knew I wanted the same type of body. I knew I wanted big long legs and small torso, but wide and thick. And the way I picture Darth Vader is, I picture Darth Vader as this, hardcore, muscular cyborg, right? So he still has muscles. He still has a part of a body. And the arms are the ones that are mechanical. His legs are mechanical, but we can't see that. So I wanted him to show that the actual body parts that he does have left, they're still muscular and hardcore. And this is my series called B-Boy Vader, The Lost Years. And so I kind of sketched out the mask real quick. And I said, well, of course, his hat's going to be a Kango. And then, and it's going to be in the early hip-hop days, in the late 70s. So he has the vest jacket, the leather or denim jacket cut off. And a gold chain. So he's got the chain. So I started doing some details like, oh yeah, that looks good. and I started adding more things. I started the mechanical parts, the glove, of course his lightsaber, a little pose right there, and then the boombox. And so when I started working on the boombox, I kept thinking I need to have straight lines. I need to work on my straight lines. And there are tools for making straight lines here on Sketchable. And you can do shapes. So let's see where's my, and I need to do it this way. Because I lose where, oh, there it is right there. There's my straight line. And you can see it poking out right here. There's a dot there, and a dot right there. And so I can move around this shape to get me a straight line. And so that was awesome. The fact that these tools are there, so now I don't have to like grab a ruler or something and say, let's make a straight line. So I started playing around with the design. There goes the no shoelaces again, because I don't like doing shoelaces. And there's some artists out there who do some amazing shoes, and the shoelaces look so intricate and realistic, but yet cartoony, and I'm like, dang. So I don't want to copy them. I kind of need to develop mine, and right now that's how it's going to be. But I wanted a cool boombox. This is one of my boxes that I have. And then some spray paint cans. And I just kind of went too far with this layer, and I started adding too much stuff. The coloring and things around, because now if I wanted to edit one part and I wanted to edit a particular area and I use the eraser, then it's going to erase everything that's in that, include all the colors and lines and so on. All right. So once I got to this point, I was like, this is cool. Let me post this. So I posted this on Instagram, Delta Tango Mike. And then I said, well, let's get to work on it. So I turned down the opacity and said, let's go. So where is it? Where are you? That's not it. And that might be it. No, that's that shadow. And that's the highlights. And did I get rid of it? I might have. There goes the color. And I think I did. I messed around and moved the line work. And then I did not keep a copy. What's cool is that you can make copies, duplicate the layer that you're working on, and have a second one to work with. And I didn't do that here, so that's my mistake. So now I went in and started adding some color and detail. And I said, that's cool, that's going to work out well. And it got so complicated, I said, you know what, let me just do a line drawing of this guy. I need to be able to knock this out. And sometimes you just need to work on something and get it out. So that's when this came around. Oh, here he goes. And so it's still based on the same design. It's just not, this layer is not sitting on top of the old layer. It's not the way it should have been. But it's the same guy. So actually, let's do this, right? Because we can copy. So duplicate layer, there it is. I turned off one layer. I'm using this layer. And I'm going to go like this. I can grab that layer, lock the dimensions, turn it around, go like this. Let's see if I can get it down too close to what it was. Oops, oh man, I hit the wrong button. See, that was me. Call that user error. All right, let's see, here we go. Nice, let's go with that and then bring it in. So this line work, pretty nice, very close, very close. This line work, the black line work, is based on the original sketch that's down here. You see that? Here's the original sketch, and then here goes the new line work. Now let's get rid of the original sketch, and now we see the line work. And all the lines are based on cleaner, smoother lines with values, line weights to give it value, depth, and volume. So that way I can clean up and make it better. I did some patches, the dark side. I did the Galactic Empire patches. I'm going to do something in these 3 patches here. I detailed some of the muscles. Yeah, I made it, bring it out a little bit. And then I went ahead and used the shapes to kind of make the Galactic Empire logo. It's off, but it's good enough for now because this is still a work in progress. I did a lot of mecha and glove, so I still have to detail some of the shading in the glove because I want it to be really dramatic. But I use my lines and shapes to create the circles, to create the lines, and get a good clean boombox here. I wanted a clean boombox. I want it to look like what you expect a boombox to look. So that was all the shapes here. Right in here. There you go. So now that I have all this going, I detailed the shoes a little bit. I threw in the Adidas logo, and that was just a simple process of doing some shape and then going in with the eraser to add the lines. And I like detailing things, so I have that. Detailing the mechanical parts. Here goes the lightsaber again. I still have to shade some parts of that. And there you have Darth Vader. So I'm gonna release this line work drawing on Draw Daily Facebook group and give people a chance to take it and color it how they wish. So that's Vader: The Lost Years. But I'm not done with it. I still need to do the spray cans and so on. So that's a bit of my process. Another one that I'm gonna show you is the one we saw earlier. And not that. There we go. Go back. What's in here? Okay. So she is a half orc. Get rid of that. That little thing is for the Surface dial. I don't have that. Surface. Microsoft Store, please send me one. So again, I got rid of the layers that helped me build this picture up, and it starts with the anatomy. I started with the anatomy sketch. I started with the pose. I started with the bone structure, build out the muscles, get the body to look like a human body. It is in my particular style. She is a warrior. Assassin, conqueror, something, I forget exactly. And but the fact is that I had a good idea of the kind of armor and gear she was going to wear, and because she's a half orc, I like they like and the orcs like using a lot of bones and pointy looking stuff and armor. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna go all in with the armor. So here's some detail on the image itself. I went, I think, a little bit extreme with the line work because some of these effects I could have done with color, but here it is. That's detail on the knuckles, on her arm, on the chest plate. I put a cape on her. She got pouches, extra weapons, intricate belts, and cloth bands. Of course, I don't know, forget what you call this front cloth, loin cloth, and then big glove, and it's feminine, but it's still tough and hard. It's a warrior style, and so I went in with the details. Just started drawing things in, and this is like the third or fourth layer. I took 3 or 4 layers to get to this point. The sword, and then of course the feet, the boots, and so on. So once I get to a particular spot, I may start thinking about shading. I start thinking about details of a color, and so I go in and start shading like this. Bam, just real quick, like where's the light source coming from? Where's the shadows are going to be? And I start going in hard with the detail, and I start cleaning up, and I start adding values to give it shape and dimension. And so now that I know where my light source is, and there it is, look, to remind myself, I put a little light right here to the left, and that's telling me this is my light source. This is where light is coming from. And the shadow is back here. See, there's the shadow. from here to there. And so now I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, I need to shade in dark on this side, light on that side, but it's not going to be completely dark on this side because I also want some highlights coming from the bottom. So that's why some areas still have a light area, that's not so dark. So let's get these layers back up. So there goes this, trying to add a little bit harsher lighting. And now here comes the color. So now I'm bringing in some color. And I think I might have done the color first this time. So there it is, the flats. These are the color flats. And I gave myself a legend to understand and remember what color goes with what, because I didn't want to mess that up later. And I have 5 characters to work on, and they live in the same world, so some of these colors need to be able to translate throughout the rest of the characters. Then let's get our layers up. Then I went in with some highlights. There goes the highlights. Turn it off, turn it on. And let's bring in the shadows, highlights, and some colors. This is the glow. So now we have some glow. And now look at that. It all works together and it builds together to give you a fuller image, a fuller body and texture. And I like some of these brushes and pencils that have texture on them, and it gives me stuff like this little speckles here. You can see some speckles there on the body here. So it's not very, so that way it's not so flat and just hazy, but it actually has some texture to break it down, break the monotony down and make it interesting. So I still have a lot of details to work on. I have more to do to blend some of these things. There's a great blending tool here, and it really helps. I like adding little highlights like this to make certain things pop. Little highlights right there. And overall, you may not see it, but when it's not there, and you can tell a difference. Same here with the sword. Some of these colors are not going to remain this way. This is what I'm working with so far, and there's still some editing process to go through, and some of these things may change. But I like doing little details here and there to help bring it out. So that's my process when it comes to drawing with Sketchable and the Surface Pro 4. Let's see if I have something else that's interesting here. Here's a great example of a work in progress. This one is it's going to be a while before I'm done. It's pretty tedious because of how intricate I want to make it look. So I did this drawing 10 years ago. And I did it an ink drawing, I did a pencil drawing, and right now I have a big 24 by 36 drawing of this cinema office. His name is Tezcatlipoca. He's my Aztec god, and I like the way it looks. Right, I think it's very dramatic pose and all that. But I wanted to do a modern version of it now. So this is I don't see the year on here, so I have to look up the actual drawing that has the year on it. So I'll open it in Sketchable, and I said, well, let me play with this piece. So I'm turning down the opacity so we can see what I want to do to it. So I said, well, I need to show my current skills. So my current skills, I want the anatomy to be cleaner, to be more fluid, to look more realistic, but also bigger and chunkier and stronger. And more even, so that the foot and the hand kind of an even keel. The knee is in the back, and this knee is under this hand, and you can see more of the bend of the arm. The shield, you know, is dramatic and is further out, so that gives everything room to breathe. I expanded the shoulders. I wanted this shoulder to be dramatic, but also the shoulders to be dramatic, but also to have the collar that goes on. And I wanted his headdress to be big, because I also wanted more of a cleaner or put together structure of the drawing so that it has a flow. So I did all this quick sketching. I said, well, let me think about what I would like to see. This I didn't touch because I'm okay with that. I want to leave that alone. That's okay. And let's go. So now, so once I did that, I turned down this drawing also, as you can see. So there's the hard drawing lines. That's what it looks like when you're drawing. And then I turned down the opacity of this one also. Come on. There we go. And I turn on down current drawing now. So it's kind of like sketching, penciling, and now inking, right? And there it goes. So now I'm going in with the dramatic line work, the dramatic weights of the lines to give it volume, to give them, some of them to look like they're recessed, to make the face look like it's back there and the headdress is up here. And then there goes the collar. There go the shoulders, big, broad, thick, wide shoulders, muscles. The smoke coming out of some of the armor, you know, and then bam. Very dramatic, right? So I'm still working through some of it. I'm still working back there. I'm working up here. I working little by little as I have time, and just adding detail and adding volume to things. So there goes the flag. There goes the headdress. I have a lot of stuff to do in here still. I got to do some designs, and then still more to go there. And then of course here comes the shield. And once I get most of this out here, I'm gonna do the cape. Still has to do the cape, and then the loincloth. I now that I'm thinking about the cape, there's no cape because I didn't do a cape up here. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to miss that on that. In any case, there it goes. Little by little, I'm working on it, and we'll see how far we can get as time allows. And now I can turn off the other layer so I can see what it looks like and what the end result will look like. And that's how it's gonna go. So this is a bit of my process. I like to share a lot. I will repost this video on the YouTube channel for Vector Maestros. That's where I publish a lot of my tutorials and techniques. And let's see if I have anything else I'd like to show you here in this sketchbook. Vader. Let me see, did I keep? Yep, I did. Oh, let's go. Let's see. So I let somebody draw on here, and that's what they drew. And then I turned off their layer, start a new layer, and then I said, well, he's a b-boy. And so I did a quick body sketch. I want to get some proportions in. I want to get some shapes in. I want to get the idea out. I may not work on it right away. I may come back to it later, but I want to get the idea out. So then once I have this idea out, I turn down the opacity and I go in and start drawing it. And so this line work was on top of that one when I was doing it and I was using this old line, the old doodle or the old sketch to clean up this sketch. And the style that I wanted to use with this was more of a color in style, because I think that's where this series is going, a coloring book. And so there goes Darth Vader. Here goes his mask. He got the hat on. He's got a little jumpsuit. Got the Converse, the Chuck Taylors, but these are called Dark Side. Of course, got the Empire. And it's moving. I'm working through it. I'm not finished with it, but I got to this point. I said, you know what? Let me put some details on this and post it. And then let's get rid of that one. And there you go. And that's how I end up with that. So, don't want to make this too long, but I hope you enjoyed a look into my process, into how I'm working on things. and leave me your comments, leave me your questions, shoot me a text, shoot me a message, and let me know what you're working on. Tag me. I want to see your work. I want to see what's happening with your art, and I'll follow. I wanna participate. Check us out at Draw Daily 2017 in the Facebook group, and then also join and post, because we want to encourage each other. We want to support each other in our process and in our work. And then also want to you working on my art. I want to improve on my skills. I want to do better and to get better, and that's my goal with Draw Daily 2017. Is to draw every day, push myself every day, and draw every day on the surface. And it's not just things that I feel like drawing, but also work that I want to finish, personal projects, client projects, all those things. So, all right, keep it up. See you next time. This is DTM. Follow me, Delta Tango Mike. Check me out online. Go follow Artist King _ATL.